I'll be teaching you how to sew this gorgeous asymmetrical waistline maxi dress in this tutorial. This is the part 2 to this tutorial, and this tutorial will be a sewing tutorial. In the part 1, I spoke about the measurement you need to measure on whoever you want to sew this dress for. I spoke about how to cut this dress, and there's a bit of sewing tutorial in that part 1 as well. If you need to see that part 1 so that you understand where I'm coming from in this part 2, please check it out. The link to the part 1 is currently showing up, and it will also be down in the description box. So continuing from where I stopped in the part 1 of this tutorial, the next thing to do is to shape. To shape this dress, considering that the fabric that I'm using is a bit stretchy, I had to put that into consideration first. You can see me pulling the dress to be sure of how stretchy it can get. So because my fabric is stretchy, I deducted 2 inches from each of our measurements before dividing by 4. And I love to start my shaping from the back because the zip just automatically helps me to know the center of my dress. So from the zip, I divided our bust by 4 and I marked that. Then our waistline divided by 4, I marked that. Our hip divided by 4, I marked that. If your fabric is not stretchy, you don't need to deduct anything from your measurements before dividing. So I connected these 3 points together, the bust, the waist and the hip, and I proceeded to stitching across these 3 points just the way I've marked it. So when I was done with one side, I flipped my dress to the other side, and on this other side I'll be dividing by 2, starting from the previous place that I shaped. Once you are done shaping one side where you divided by 4 and you flip your dress to the other side, you'll be dividing by 2 now, no longer by 4, starting from the first place that you shaped. So the bust divided by 2, the waist divided by 2, and then the hip divided by 2, starting from the first place I shaped. Then I'll connect this point together and stitch across this point. Just make sure that you are stitching exactly on the point that you've marked. So after this, I flipped my dress to the right side. Then I gave it a good press. I pressed along the shaping side where I have stitched. The next is now to remeasure the shoulder to be sure that the shoulder is on point, and then remeasure the armhole. Don't forget I said the part 1 of this tutorial, the link to it is in the description box, and there's another video where I fixed the zip of this dress. The link to that video is also in the description box. So I divided the shoulder by 4 and I marked it. I added just ½ inch allowance because there will be sleeve on this dress. After remeasuring the shoulder and marking, I retrimmed the armhole, and after retrimming my armhole, I had to remeasure to be sure that the armhole is the exact armhole I'm trying to achieve. If you have remeasured your shoulder very well and you trim your armhole, you will see that the armhole will just be the exact armhole if the shoulder that you have measured is perfect, like it's correct. So when I was done doing this, I fixed the short pencil sleeve. It's now time to trim out the asymmetrical part of this dress. So I arranged it on my table perfectly. I even pressed it after arranging, like I ironed it after arranging, and then I figured out the length on the right and I figured out the length on the left. I connected these 2 lengths together and I trimmed it out. So what is next is to cut out the gathers part of this dress, and for this gathers part I used 4 yards for the fullness. Now for the length, when you are trying to cut out the length, remember that the waistline of your dress is asymmetrical. That means one is longer than the other. You see that short part is that length you will consider. The length from that short part to the floor length of your dress is what you will consider, not the long part. So in the case of this my dress, the short part of the dress is 25 inches long, while the long part is 32 inches long. So what I consider is the 25 inches. This dress length is actually 64. So I deducted 25 inches from the 64, not the long part. I hope my explanation is clear. So that was the length I considered when I was cutting out the gathers part of this dress. And for the fullness, I used 4 yards. You can use the quantity of fabric that you have, but in my case I used 4 yards, and for the length I considered the short part of the dress. So I folded this into as small as it could fold, and then I proceeded to cutting it out. After cutting it out, I ran a gather stitch across it. Like I gathered it into the measurement of that asymmetrical waistline where it's entering, and after gathering, this is what the gathers part of this dress is looking like at this point. So what is next is to fix this gathers into the dress. So to do that, I had to get center front, center back, and these two sides on this gather. So I notched the center back. Center back is where the joining will be, the joining where I used in joining the piece I'm using for the gathers. And then I notched the center front as well. I notched it to both sides. That's after I've gathered it, I notched it to both sides. And then after I was done making all these notch, I picked up the upper part of the dress, I flipped it to the right side, and then I put it inside the gathers, making sure that the right side of the upper part of the dress is facing the right side of the gathers. You can see that this dress, the right side is out now, but for the fabric I'm using as the gathers, the wrong side is out. So after I figured out the center front, you can see me marking the center front, then the side is easy to locate because of the joining, and then the center back is easy to locate as well because of the joining of the zip. I pinned it right side of this upper piece facing the right side of the lower piece. I pinned center front together, center front to center front, center back to center back, then the two sides I pinned it down as well. So I did pinning in 4 places. Please, all this pinning, they are very, very important. It helps you to know that the quantity you are gathering into the left side is the same as the quantity you are gathering into the right side. So you pinning it in these 4 places is very, very important. So after pinning, I proceeded to stitching the gathers on top of the upper part of the dress. It is this simple. My name is Oluwatosin. In case it's the first time you are seeing my channel, and you're welcome, please do well to subscribe. And to all my return subscribers, you're also welcome. Thank you so much for always watching my tutorials. So when I was done gathering the gathers into the fitted part, which is the upper part of the dress, the next I did was to cut out the length. Considering the way the waistline of this dress is, when you fold your dress to cut out the length, you will see that one part of the length will be longer than the other. Like one part of the dress will be longer than the other. So I will advise that when you want to cut out the length after fixing the gathers on the dress, you arrange your dress. If it's a long dress, fold it very well. If your table cannot contain, please fold it on the ground. I had to fold mine on the floor, as you can see. So I folded it properly so that I can cut out the exact length. You see what I'm saying? One side is longer than the other. So I'll make sure that I trim it out. On this short side, I'll trim it out, adding allowance that I'll be, after adding the allowance that I'll be using to fold the down of the dress. So I trimmed it out to the same length. Then I proceeded to folding the down of the dress with just 1 inch. It is this simple. And this is it for this tutorial. I hope this tutorial has been helpful to you. If it has been helpful, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. In case you have any question, please ask me down in the comment section. My comment section is always open to answer all of your questions. And in case you are new here and you are still here and you've not subscribed, please consider subscribing and turn on the notification bell so that YouTube notifies you when next I upload a tutorial on this channel. Because on this channel, I upload sewing tutorials on daily basis. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in my next tutorial.